Hello everyone, welcome to the 101% podcast where we talk about mindset, motivation, discipline, how to always push yourself, how to become a beast and how to defeat struggle. This podcast will help you to get a better life, that's 101% for sure. I'm your host Joakim and together with me is the co-host and my sister Annika. Welcome to this podcast. In this episode we will talk about how to raise our children, building the foundation and relationship to be a safe harbor for our children, the importance of acknowledge the feeling your children have, the best method to make a strong connection and relationship with your children. This is a real game changer. Your child's feeling, to lead by example, preparation for the world, prevention is easier than repairing, and how to success or fail in the 8 phases of life. Stick around because we have a lot of good tips and a way to make your connection and relationship with your children better and stronger. Please subscribe to this show on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts and share it with a friend. Let's get started.
And the reason why we've chosen to talk about this topic is because one of the definitely most important parts about your personal development is how you are as a parent. As we've talked a lot about, it is extremely important for us to be good role models, to inspire, to live our life in a good way that we're proud of, and hopefully inspire other people. And as a parent, you are a role model for your child in everyday life. So how will you cope with that? How will you be the best example? How will you teach your child the important things in life and give them the tools that they need to cope with life? Because that is your responsibility.
Absolutely. And that's the most important purpose and job you have in your life as a parent. You have to be a good parent and prepare your children for the future and for the life. It's so important, as me and Annika talk about all the time, you have to try to be the best version of yourself. And it's so important you work on yourself because you need to have it good with yourself to be good to help others and to help your children. Yeah. So work on yourself so you can be a better parent. Very important. So lot of the things I will say now is for the small children, but some of the stuff also appeals to older children. As a single parent for my daughter for the last 11 years, I have learned a trick or two. And as for Annika is an aunt and a social worker with specialized education who would work a lot with children and youths. And she also have a trick or two she will share with you today. So participate as much as possible in the children's life. Build a relationship with the child so that the child can come to you if they feel not well and have some problem. It have to be easy to come to you. You have to be a safe harbor so they can come to you with their problem so you can talk and guide and help them. It's so important to have this connection. It is very important to be present. You have to be in the moment, not halfway. Same when your children come and talk with you and look at you and you sit, look at your phone and even don't look at your children and just answer and you is only there halfway. And the children see that. They are very good to see that. So it's so important when your children come to talk with you, put away your phone, and actually look at them and recognize their feeling and really, really see them. That is so important. Not be only halfway and same you is another place in your mind. That's not good enough. Also, it is so important to say, I see that you're upset. Put into words the feeling of the child if something has arisen. That is to validate their emotion. Then your children know that you see their emotion. You see they're angry, sad, upset or something. And then you connect with them because you see their emotion. And then you can talk together, guide them and try to solve the problem. It's so important to recognize to show the children that they are seen. And also so important for us, we are grown-up adults, yeah? But we have to see it from a child's point of view. It's easy for us, we are grown-up adult, and as children on, for example, 3-4 years, come and have a problem, yeah? And this is nothing for us, yeah? Because we are grown-up already, but you have to try to be inside the shoes of the children and see it from their perspective as a 3-4 year older children, because it's much more challenging and worse for them. Yeah? That's a good trick. And in order to be more present, yeah, you have to wonder a lot. Sit, wonder together with your children, yeah, and do not rush too much. No, I will be present and listen to what the child has to say. Be with your child, not another place in your thoughts when you speak to your child. It is so important, yeah. That's why I mention this so many times. Children are small, and they are just with us for a little while in this life. So it's so important to take good care of the time and spend as much time with your children as you can. Because when they grown up, yeah, they not want to stay with us so much anymore. So take good care of the time. When your children come and want to do something with you, put everything aside and watch and hear what your children want to say. Go and do something with them. When the children do something wrong, I used to say, I want or I don't want when talking to the children about correction. And also you have to choose your battle wisely. Yeah? It's not every time it's worth get into an argument or fight. Yeah, sometimes you just have to let it go. And when they come and they angry, yeah, let they get angry. Let they say what they want first. And because they are same as us, sometimes we came and we are also very frustrated and angry. And think if every time we come or you come and someone and you gonna be angry and someone say, "Hey, stop," and you cannot get your emotion out, then you built up something inside your body. It's not good. Because the children also need to get out the emotion. So when my child comes sometime and if she's angry or something, yeah, I let it be angry, let it say something, let it get it out. And when you get out everything and finished, then I sit down with she and talk, okay, what's the problem? And I let she tell me what she think about this. And I say, okay, how can we solve this one? How can we do this better? Or how can we avoid them? Let she think. And then she come with some ideas. And I can come with some ideas. And then we are on the same team, yeah? Instead, I start to argue with she when she's angry. We finish with everything she say, and we try to solve it together. And we are on the same team, and we work for solve this problem together. And if I'm angry, I have to tell my children, okay, no, I start to get angry, or I gonna get angry about this. And if I have been unreasonable, or you have been unreasonable, it's important we say, okay, I sorry, I was too angry, or I shouldn't have said that. And I'm sorry, and I would try to not do it again. Say what you think about a situation in order to soften or get the child to tell you what they think, feeling. Important, when you are present, be present with the child. This is a game changer. It's the little thing you do with the child that they remember. It can be a small trip, just in your neighborhood or just in the forest. You walk around, you see something, you see some animal, or just get some small little experience and have a good talk. Maybe sit in the forest, eat a little bit candy together. Just small thing like this is things they will remember all their life. So create good and magic moment together. It's good to have good talk together, get good vibes when you do something. And this is something you can do with your child every day. And this is same if you are at your work or every place you are. Same with your children. If you had a bad day, not let it go out of your children, because it's not your children's fault that you have a bad day. You have to be professional about this one. If I had a bad day, okay, when my daughter come, I think for myself, okay, no, I will put on a happy mood, good vibes, and I try to smile, try to say something funny, and try to make a good day for she, because it's not her fault, and it's not fair of me if I gonna put my bad energy on she. That's everything else area in the life also. so important to remember. Tell the child that you see how she are feeling, so you know that she register it. That's I mentioned earlier, yeah. This appeal to when something special have occurred. As we mentioned before, we have to see it from a child's perspective and not in your own, because we have a much more life experience than our children. And when we are on a walk, we have to take it easy and experience as much as possible on the trip. Because before I was very in a rush, or just want to finish the trip and get home again. And my mom said to me many years ago, it was around 11 years ago, I come home from Thailand, you have to take it easy, yeah? You have to take your daughter, walk around, and just let she see and smell the fruits and enjoy the life. Not need to rush and just come back again. Because you can get so much more out of the trip. And I started to do that, and it became much more funny for my daughter and for myself. Just to be there, be in the moment. So it's so important. You have to be there, present with your child. When the child screams, step in and comfort for or acknowledge and the feeling of the child. Don't fuss more than necessary. Don't make the child feel bad about themselves. Positive talking, lift them up, yeah. Recognition is about meeting the feeling. I understand that you are upset, and don't worry too much. Don't use the word be careful or watch out. You might get hit. Use instead you must or remember to concentrate. Yeah. Because we not want to make them scared. We just want to give them good advice and let them try for themselves and experience. Then the child gains self-confidence and it became easier to master it. Good and reliable information is important up here. You have to appear safe, trustworthy, honest, and authoritarian. Try to understand the children's need. Specific feedback, both positive and negative. Because then you understand what you mean. Give honest and clear praise so that the child understands what you have done well. Don't just blur something out. The surprising praise warms the most. And now my daughter is 12 years old, and believe it or not, she actually not want to spend so much time with me anymore as before. I cannot believe it because I'm so cool and funny guy, so I not understand. But this is the circle of life. So I am very happy all of her life I spend so much time with she. Because now the time is changing and she want to be more with friends, more alone. And I understand that. So that's why it's so important to take care time with your children. And when she want come to me sometime now and she want to do something, it is so important. I have to put away everything I do and say, okay, let's go. And everything she want to do, I gonna do together with she, because that's just some moments she will feel she would like to do something with her father, and then I will do it. Because if I say I cannot now, but I do later, and then I come later and shall we do something, and she not want, so it have to be on her premises. So that's I recommend you when your children come and want to do something, throw away everything you do and just go do it. And I also try to find hobbies together with my daughter. We train together, take some walks, take some trips with the car, listen music, and also try to have good conversation, little bit shopping, and we used to look movies together and visit some people. So that's something I just try to plan, and we can do that. Sometimes we play cards, and I also often talk about something I learned from Annika about prevention is easier than repairing it. I often talk and I try to prepare and talk how she can avoid this and this, and learn the good values and good things in her life. I always try to be calm and be a safe harbor for she, so she can know that she always can come to me if something happen. It's so important to build this relationship and have good conversation. I
do my best every day to prepare her for the world, because one day she's gonna go out in the world alone, and it's a jungle out there, yeah. So you have to be careful, yeah, and have to learn many things she have to avoid, so she not get inside some bad situation. Lead by example is a very important one. Before, when we're gonna go out, this is when we was very young, and I used to prepare, make some clothes ready, these things, and I always do that. And when we got another day, I see when we're gonna go, and she start to prepare her own things. And I never told Sia, but you just see I do that. So lead by example is a very good way to learn, and always be genuine interest in your children's lives, and always being there for her, always being there for your children. Find subject to have a good conversation about. Don't shoot and criticize. Better to communicate properly and lead by example. The most important task and purpose in life is to be a very good parent for your children. Work as hard as you can to have and to maintain an amazing relationship with your children. That's the most important thing in life. So then I have go for a long rant, Annika, and now I will give the mic for you.
Thank you. It was awesome to just sit and listen, because you are so reflected upon all of these things, and you are the person I've been talking most to with parenting the last few years. You inspire me a lot in how you have raised your daughter, and I have learned a lot of things from you that I want to do when I become a mother one day. And I think it is very fascinating to see how you have planned this episode, because we did not talk about it together at all. And then when I hear you talk, you have included all the important topics that I had in my mind, that I had in my script that you hadn't seen. So I think it is very fascinating how similar we think about this topic, and probably because we talked so much about it for so many years. So it was awesome to just hear, and I think that you have highlighted the important topics. So I think that, as you say, it is so important to lead by example. If some parents are doing something, let's say some parents are drinking heavily, and tell their children, oh, but you shouldn't drink, they have no credibility, because when you do something opposite of what you tell them, not only do you lose credibility, but also you kind of teach them to lie or to be false, and that is not good at all. So what kind of focus do you want to imprint in your children, and what values is most important for you to teach your child? And I think in all relations, and especially in your child, the number one important thing is love. Love has to be the foundation of everything. And as a parent, you are a caregiver. It comes a huge, tremendous responsibility with that. You don't have any days off where you go out and do what you want, or you are responsible to teach your child everything good in this life, to be a good example, to talk about the important things. And as you say, Joakim, our children grow up in a rough world. They face a lot of challenges, and sometimes they might be upset by something we don't really understand. But anyways, it is extremely important for us to go down to their level and meet them where they are, see things from their perspective. If, I don't know, an example, let's say your daughter comes home from school and she's so pissed because someone spoiled the final episode of Gossip Girl, or someone did this or this, like, you wouldn't be upset because you don't care about the Gossip Girl, but you understand that for her, that actually means a lot. So you try to be in her shoes for a while, and you say, that must be so frustrating. Like, you kind of share her emotions because you love her. You understand that she's upset, so you are upset with her, because that is validating her feelings, and that is so important. And it is very important to educate our children. I read a few days ago something very fascinating, actually, that if you read one picture book to your child every day, you expose them to almost 80,000 different words each year. And from they are born and can start understanding these pictures until they start in kindergarten, that will be 1.4 million words more. that they are exposed to than the children who are not read to every day. And of course, this will directly impact their vocabulary and language skills and academic results. And I think that this period of time where you have in the evening, you read a book together, you kind of land, they go to bed with a comfortable feeling. You end the day in a good way together with some quality time. You read with a calm voice. And I think that the value of this is so important and something I would suggest everyone to do, both for the vocabulary and the lessons, but also the values it gives them and the peace that they enter the night with. And I read a quote the other day, which is really important, both for colleagues, but also for children. It goes like this: tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. And this is so good, because if you just tell your children so many things all the time, it will be too much for them. But if you lead by example, you show them how things are done and you involve them when you make dinner or when you do this or this, then you give them the tools to face the world. And as you have been talking about in this episode, Joakim, you talk about how you see your daughter adapting your habits because you show her and you involve her, and then it becomes hers.
If you would like to support this podcast with a small donation so we can keep growing this show and make this podcast better for you guys, we have some donation link on our homepage, the 101%podcast.com. The percent sign you have to write with letters. You can donate with PayPal, debit and credit card. We also have Vips for the Norwegian, Swedish, Denmark and Finland. And we also take crypto donation. We appreciate all donation. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast.
And I wanted to ask you, because I know that you have spent a lot of time educating yourself, but where do you have the best lessons from? How have you educated yourself in this?
I have read some books about this one, and I look some program in TV, and I also listen a lot of podcast episode about this one, and then I have take my own notes of the best thing, and also all the time I parenting. I look what I do and I analyze what I do, and I see how the children react, and I always try, okay, I have to be better, and I also see what other parents do, and I take the good thing they do and adapt to myself. So I always try to improve, and I take new ideas from everywhere. And I also still keep hearing podcasts, reading books, and from people who is very good and specialized on those fields, and to try to be a better parents. So that's the way I've done it, and I make it to my own system.
That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. And I think that you're doing exactly the right thing with how you educate yourself and how you implement it into your life. And also, as you say, it is a realization that your daughter is growing. She is a teenager now very soon. Before, you used to play with teddy bears together with her, but then that wasn't fun for her anymore. So you bought bikes so that you and her could go on bike trips. And then it's not that funny for her anymore. But now you take her out for rides in your car. You go for a ride for an hour and listen to music and talk about things. And as you see, creating that atmosphere on a hike in the forest or in the car, it opens up for different topics. Maybe it's easier to talk about some things when you're out for a ride. Or so you create these arenas where you and her still connect a lot. And now one of the favorite things she likes is watching series. Same for me when I was in that age. So you watch series together with her. So it's very interesting to see how you adapt into her circle of life. So she still enjoys spending time with you, but you do different things than you did before.
Absolutely. Have to adapt and change, yeah. See what she like and do the new things together with she. So that's so important, yeah. You have to change together, yeah. And I have to adapt to she, yeah. Because if I want to stay, have a lot of time together with she, I have to adapt to her interest and what she would like to do.
Definitely. And when you speak, I hear you speak a lot of the principles that we learn when we as social worker are educated on how to give guidance to parents or how to take care of youths in the children's services, as I've been working with for a few years. And we use this model that's called the circle of security, which is kind of when you hold your hands like this and you have the safe base and you have the safe haven or harbor, as you call it, where you're supposed to support your child to go out in the world and explore. You encourage your child to do that. But also you have the safe harbor they can come back to and seek comfort or support. So it's awesome to see how you already are using these principles. And I wanted to, yes, that is really awesome. And I wanted to go a little bit into a theory that I learned about many years ago in psychology that keeps coming back to me in all the field of works I've had for children, youths, adults, the elderly, in my personal life, and the people I meet. I think a lot about this. And it is from Erik Erikson. He has a theory that is called the 8 phases of life. Very short, this theory is about that you go through 8 phases, and in each phase you will either succeed or fail. And if you succeed, you go out with this certain value. And if you fail, you go out with a challenge that you must face. So if you succeed in this phase, you have earned a value that will make you stronger. But if you fail in this phase, it is challenging for you, and it might make it more challenging to succeed in the next phase. And what is very fascinating about this is that the first 4 phases, it is very up to your parents if you will succeed or if you will fail, because you're so young. The next 4 phases, it is up to you because you are becoming an adult, and it is your responsibility to educate yourself and take the right choices and all of this. And I just want to go through these phases because it is very important to know about. So in the first one, if you succeed in the first one, you gain trust. And if you fail in this first phase, you gain mistrust. And an example to this is an infant, because this is the very first stage of life. An infant that is given attention and that is cared for. So if the infant starts crying and the parents comfort the infant, they will trust their caretaker. But if the infant is crying and telling the caretaker that something, I need attention, I need food, or I need to be changed diapers on, and the caretaker doesn't respond, or they yell, or they get angry, the mistrust grows in the infant, and it is very difficult for the infant to start trusting people. So the first phase is trust or mistrust. The next one is autonomy or shame and doubt. The third one is initiative or guilt. And the next one in school age, when you start building these skills as confidence and stuff, then it is more about industry or inferiority. And then comes the next 4 phases where you are responsible for the outcome, not your parents anymore. Then comes the identity or role confusion. This is when you are maybe a teenager and starting to become a young adult. Then comes intimacy or isolation. Will you be able to find someone to share your life with, go into the adult life? Then comes generativity or stagnation. And this is the phase that most of us are in. Are we stagnating or are we still developing? And the last phase of life is integrity or despair. So it is very important to think about these phases, like you are responsible to make your child succeed in the earlier phases, to gain trust, autonomy, to be initiative, and to start gaining this confidence and feeling safe in life, so that when your child grows up and becomes an adult, it is more likely that they will have a strong identity, strong sense of identity. They will be able to be intimate and share their life with someone. They will keep on evolving in personal development and in jobs and these kind of things, and have good integrity, not end their life in a way where they are very bitter or sad or angry. And things like this. So I think it is very important to keep educating yourself, to keep work on yourself as the most important project, because then you can be the resource of all good in the people around you, and especially for your children. It is so important. And as I mentioned, love is the foundation of everything, and empathy is a normal, common human value. To have the ability to stand in the darkness together with them when they are in a rough place. And Brene Brown has a really good video on this on YouTube, how she explains that having empathy is like jumping down underground, being underground with someone, daring to do that, because it's hard to stay underground. And I think a lot of that as a social worker too. Sometimes we meet people that really go through some hard struggles, and then it is so important for us to dare to jump down underground in a way, and dare to be there with them, dare to understand that they are in a really rough place, show them that we really care and we are here together with them, and we will do everything we can to help them out of it. And I've been thinking a lot about when that time in my life comes, when I am finished with my career as a fighter and we will raise our children. I've been thinking a lot about that the most precious thing I can do is to give them time, to give them as much time as possible, to teach them the most important things in life, and to focus about the most important things that will give them tools to face their own challenges in life, and to always build bridges. I don't want to close any doors so they don't feel that they can come and talk to me about things. I want to always be there as the safe harbor you're talking about, Joakim. My door is always open. Please come to me, talk to me, and we'll solve things together. And I've been thinking a lot about how I disagree with a lot of the principles that the society stands for today. They teach your children a lot of things that I don't agree with. So for me, it is very important to spend a lot of time with them and teach them the things that I think is important. I don't think it's important things that some bloggers or some politicians or the mainstream media or the news write a lot about today. So then I want to give them value, to give them knowledge and highlight the important things in life. And for me, religion has become very important as a foundation of life, because it is a way of life. It has a recipe on how you should live your life, and to believe in something that is bigger than yourself, to have trust in this force, our creator. It is very important. And I think that society today, especially the Western society and in Norway, society has kind of like wiped out religion the way I see it. And they want you to think more about culture and society's values. And then it is very important for me when I start a family to highlight religion, to highlight the good values like honesty and loyalty and being a good human being, support others, help your neighbors, inspire, be positive, never talk bad about people, and don't waste time. Don't fill your brain with trash, as I used to call it, from mainstream media. Why spend so many hours during a week watching mainstream media that's not going to help you go anywhere? Because the people that runs the world, the matrix that decides what's on the mainstream media, they want to control the people, and that is not something that I will let happen. I want to teach my children what's important so that the social media doesn't. And I also am very skeptical to the school system. So for me, it is important to just be aware of these things, educate yourself all the time so that you can talk to your children about these different kind of topics. If they come home and say, but in this movie I saw this, or at school we talked about this, and then we can have a discussion about it. Be very present, be curious, take part in all parts of their life so that you can reflect together and help them find out what is the truth.
Absolutely. Many great ways to think it. And I'm 101% sure you will be a great mom.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward for that time to come. And I have learned so much from you on how you are a parent. And I will always keep on educating myself, because even though I'm a social worker and I've been working with youths for several years, I've never been a mom before. So there are so many things I need to learn. And for the rest of my life, like when my child is an infant, it's different kind of challenges than when my child is 20. So everything will always be new. You always have to learn and keep educating yourself.
Great way. Always became better and more knowledge about raising your children.
Definitely.
So a lot of great advice, Annika. You know so many things and so great to hear. And when I hear on you what you say, I still learn me a lot of good and new things I will take me and use in my life when I raise my daughter. So that's a lot of great and valuable information. Appreciate that a lot.
Thank you. And I think my final words is just that now we talked a lot about raising children. And for our listeners, some have children, some will have children on a later point, some have children that's already grown up. But I think that this episode can help you wherever you are in life, because this talks a lot about just facing life in a way. And these 8 phases that I talked about, all of you are in one of these phases. And how will you work on this phase to succeed? And how will you help the other people around you to succeed in their phases? So I think that this episode will create some thoughts for everyone that I hope you can discover and work on in your personal development.
So today's episode was recorded November 20, 2024. If you like this episode, please share it and click on the donation link at our webpage to help us grow the show. In next episode, we will talk about fighter mindset, where we will teach you how to keep going when you want to quit.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram on this podcast account, the 101% podcast. If you like this episode, make sure to share this podcast episode with a friend and review the show on Apple Podcast. Thank you to all the audience for listening. We appreciate you all a lot. Hope that you will come back and listen to our next episode. Until next time, take care and give it your best.